Welcome back to the most professional sports channel on YouTube. Welcome back to Swivel Chair Sports. I'm your host, Zach Zuckerberg Burkle, here with the coach today. Aaron, go and say hi.
Hi.
Alright, please make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy our content. Other than that, let's go ahead and get into it. So, in this video, we'll be taking a look back at the 2024 NFL Combine. Just kind of going over a couple of the highlights, a couple of things we saw that maybe piqued our interest, and a couple things we saw that may have been a little concerning. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So, Aaron, what are kind of your first impressions of the 2024 NFL Combine? What were some of the guys that kind of stood out to you, other than obviously Xavier Worthy breaking the 40-yard dash record?
Well, let me first just go ahead and say that I think by far the most important thing is game tape. So you shouldn't go
Yes.
into this combine and see one thing and say, oh, this guy's going to be a bust or he's going to be an elite talent in the NFL, because it doesn't translate. It's not, everything kind of being put together like you see in game film. But obviously, yeah, Xavier Worthy breaking that record, that's crazy. It's very exciting. Um, I like watching some of the big guys move. You just see like 6'8" linemen
Oh,
running
scary.
sub 540s, and you're like, how
Yeah,
are
that
you
is
doing
scary.
that? um, yeah, it's definitely sort of a unique event that the NFL does that you don't really see out of a lot of sports.
Yeah, you see some kind of try to replicate it. Like I know the NBA has their version of the combine, but it's not the spectacle that the NFL is. The NFL combine is kind of over the years. It seems like it's gotten bigger and bigger as far as like media coverage goes and stuff like that. I know a lot of like NFL YouTubers got invited out this year to like actually cover the combine, get some interviews with some guys, and then they even got to participate in the drills, which is funny. So, uh, officially new.
Get their slow ass 40 overlay.
Oh yeah, exactly. So let me just go ahead and start by saying new goal has been discovered, like for this channel, is to eventually get to that point. I think that'd be amazing. Like obviously that's a far off dream. We've got a long way to go to get to that point. But how cool would that be to eventually somehow get there? That'd be sick.
We can see your 7-second 40.
Bro, that's being generous. I don't even know if I'll be that fast. It would be sad to see. If we do ever get to that point though, you best believe I'm working out and trying to, go in and show out. I'm not gonna just go like just show and go. I'm gonna be ready. I'm gonna be ready to roll.
Go and pull a hammy 10 yards into it.
Yeah, that'll be sad. That'd be sad. But um yeah, a couple of the other highlights, obviously, other than Xavier Worthy, the running back out of Louisville, Isaac Garindo, smoking the rest of the running back class as far as 40 time goes. Running a sub 4.35, running a 4.33 40 is insane for really any position, but definitely a running back. For a guy his size too, I think he's like 6 foot 220. For a guy his size, to be moving sub 4.4 is nuts, let alone 4.33. So, on top of that, if you look at the quarterbacks, obviously not a whole lot of guys were participating in uh, these more physical drills. They were mainly just there to throw. But for the quarterbacks that did run, Keaton Slovis was the top out of four guys, running a 4.55 out of BYU. Sam Hartman, best hair in college football from Notre Dame, running a 4.8. And then Spencer Rattler, who probably should have just chose not to run, along with some of the other quarterbacks, ran a 4.95, which that on top of the game film we've seen of him in college is probably not going to help boost him any draft boards. So
I thought he'd be a little faster, not gonna lie.
yeah, it's kind of, I was a little surprised when I saw that too. Also, pardon the blurry screen. I've noticed it, and it's really bad. Uh, Other than Xavier Worthy, some of the other receivers, you had Brian Thomas running a 4.33. Obviously, he's real fast. Nobody else ran a sub 4.3, which is kind of crazy. You would have expected at least one other guy, I feel like, to run like a 4.29. I feel like you get one of those random dudes every year that just come in there and they just fly. But what was one guy that kind of was under the radar coming into the combine that kind of, I don't know, jumped up your personal mock draft, Aaron?
Um, my personal one. I mean, I told you a couple weeks ago when we were talking that I wanted the Chiefs to draft Xavier Worthy. Now, did I expect him to come out and run a 4.21? Absolutely not. But that is certainly exciting. Um, somebody else, kind of Ricky Pearsall out of Florida.
Yeah,
He, you know, kind of came out and showed he had a little bit of juice. Kind of, being that number one guy out of Florida the last couple years. Kind of the star of that receiving core. So I think he showed a little bit of promise there, but obviously, like I said, combine isn't everything.
yeah. I was telling you this before we started recording. There was one name that kind of stuck out to me, and yeah, he's got a pretty famous brother, you could say, who's not too bad at football. But Luke McCaffrey's physical traits, I don't know why I'm surprised. You know, his brother's freaking Christian McCaffrey. Um, but his physicals were amongst the tops in a lot of these drills for wide receivers. He was the top 20-yard shuttle amongst wideouts with a 4.02, just beating out Roma Dunze. Um, he was the second fastest in the three cone drill, right behind your guy Ricky Pearsall, with a 6.7. And then his 40-yard dash wasn't too bad, 4.46. So decent. He's definitely not like a burner by any means, but a pretty decent 40. Especially when you look at his 10-yard split. I mean, it was up there in the top five amongst receivers, maybe sixth. With a 1.52, tied with like Roman Wilson out of Michigan, and then just 0.02 seconds behind Brian Thomas from LSU. So he was a guy that kind of impressed me as far as the wideouts go, for sure. Obviously, I already mentioned the running back from Louisville, Isaac Garendo, who also impressed. Quarterbacks, obviously, that Milton out of Tennessee looked like he had a cannon in that one throw and drill. How well that translates, I don't know, because obviously he wasn't wearing shoulder pads, a helmet, and there's no cornerback covering the receiver or pass rushers, trying to bring him down. So you can only take so much out of that. But it does look like he has a cannon. Michael Penix also looked really good, I feel like, in this combine. All the tape I've seen from him was pretty impressive. Hopefully he jumps up a few spots in the draft because, in my opinion, if he doesn't go first round, that's a little disappointing. Not for him, sure, but it's a little disappointing that there wasn't an NFL team that was willing to take that shot. So, uh, who do you think kind of, if there's one guy though, we're talking all the positives. Was there anybody that you feel like kind of dropped his draft stock at all by participating or not participating, maybe? Because obviously there was a lot of quarterbacks specifically that didn't really do anything.
I mean, I like to see people go out and compete, especially quarterbacks just going out and throwing,
Yeah, it's just
kind of
fun to
getting
watch.
fans excited and whatnot. Um, I think if somebody decides not to take Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, because they miss a throw with a receiver that they have zero practice reps with, they're a
Right.
stupid franchise and you don't want to go there anyway.
True.
Um, yeah, I'm not really sure about anybody who kind of lost. I don't know if you saw that the quarterbacks did a like throw speed
Yes. Yes.
drill to see who threw the fastest, and
Yes.
Sam Hartman was the slowest one
Very.
that I saw, 53.
Yeah.
That's still a
No, it's
rocket for a football, but
for
compared
sure.
to like McCarthy who threw 60,
Yeah,
Somebody else threw 60.
yeah. Compared to like the pro level quarterbacks, 53 is pretty slow. Um,
Yeah.
so, and I don't like kind of like you said. I don't know exactly how high he was on draft boards. Anyways, he was probably already like a fourth round pick. Um, but definitely doesn't help when you're out there throwing 10 miles slower than a Milton or a McCarthy, even, which kind of, honestly, McCarthy's another guy that'll kind of impressed me. Again, it's the combine. Don't want to take too much out of this, but it's the most we've probably ever seen the man throw in his career. So,
In his entire career.
so I can only take what I'm given. And what I was given was pretty impressive. Albeit. So yeah, throwing over 60 miles per hour, and then obviously being able to at the very he was very accurate in the throwing drills. He kind of underthrew the deep route, but that's kind of to be expected with him. I feel like I don't think anyone was expecting him to have an arm that can throw it 70 yards down the field. But I think the big question mark was, can he be accurate? Because that's probably the kind of quarterback he's going to have to be at the pro level. And again, it's the combine. Who really knows if this was him, like the real him? He may have just had an amazing day. We'll have to wait and see. But he was on the money in stride every single throw that I saw of his. So JJ McCarthy, I think, may have locked himself in as a Denver Bronco, which
Well, I would love that.
yes. Woohoo! Take him, take him.
Just don't
No.
take Penix, please.
Yeah, that'd be. I'm worried the Raiders might take Penix. He kind of looked good. He kind of looked good in silver and black too, if I'm being honest. The do rag, the
Oh, yeah,
silver,
nobody does.
the silver
They have
do
fucking ugly
rag.
uniforms.
I think the silver do rag would look sick.
No, he'd look good in purple. Go to Minnesota.
I would prefer. Yeah, I prefer that. But yeah, and then
Spencer Rattler can go to
yeah, well, yeah,
Raiders.
that'd be funny. Now the Raiders get Rattler and the Broncos get JJ McCarthy. And then just hope and pray Jim Harbaugh and Herbert don't figure it out. But yeah, I know another big story and you kind of laughed about this before we started recording, and you brought up a good point that the height difference is quite drastic. But Blake Corum benching as many reps, 225, as lineman Joe Alt is pretty impressive, all things considered. But like you said, Alt's got like 10 inches on the dude, so definitely a little harder to get that barbell up. Is there anything else that kind of jumped out to you this combine?
Fuck, the center from Arkansas, Bo Limmer, at 39 reps on the bench. Jesus.
That's a strong guy. That's a strong man.
Yeah.
A man amongst boys. That's what you want as an interior offensive lineman too. You want a dude that can push people around up there.
6'5", 302 center.
That's who the Eagles should go to replace Jason Kelsey for that fucking.
That's quite literally the opposite of Jason Kelsey.
Well, no, but what I'm saying is like that's how you get the tush push. You know,
Hey,
that guy can get the tush
I don't
push
know if he
going.
can get low enough. I don't know if he can get low enough.
But he doesn't matter. He can just shove a dude 10 yards.
Can you shove 3 dudes 10 yards? Let's
Who was the fastest? There was an offensive lineman that was booking it. Roger Rosengarten, offensive tackle out of Washington, ran a 4.92. 4.29 would be insane, but a 4.9 that would be crazy. But yeah, dude can fly. I don't know how much good that does you as an offensive tackle, but dude can fly.
Hey, he's gonna be great at pulling.
That's true. Well, I don't know. What's his 3 cone? Not that high. Not that high. Not. Did he not do it? He might not have done it.
747. Oh no, that's not him.
I guess I could have just clicked on his picture.
Who are we looking at?
Rosengarten.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't do the 3 cone. Probably because he's slow at it and he didn't want to get, didn't want to look bad. He's like, I could
Or he
run the
pulled a
straight
hammy,
line, coach.
just like
Maybe.
everybody else at the combine.
Um, but unless you got anything else, I think that'll do it for this episode of the most unprofessional sports channel on YouTube, Football Chair Sports. I'm your host, Sexer Gilbert Burkle, here with the host today, Aaron. Go and say bye, Aaron.
Bye.
All right, please make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this. Other than that, deuces.